financials were released. This is telling you how Etsy was going in the second quarter of the year. And as so many people are talking about shops being quiet and everything, it's a good way to look and see, is Etsy actually quiet? Quick spoilers, no, but I can get why you might be feeling it. There are some numbers that might explain that a little bit. Also, these financials are really great to look through because it's an investor presentation. So there's always little snippets of things that might be coming up or stuff they're going to be focusing on. So we're going to go through this. This is just a first look. I was going to do this. I knew the results were coming out yesterday. I was going to do this yesterday, but then they didn't come out till like after 10 o'clock my time, and I was tired. So what I've done, I had a quick look through it. I've wrote down my initial ideas there, but I've kind of forgotten most of what I read. So we'll go through it together. So we'll have my quick update and then we'll go through the investor results. And I've also got some more. I keep track of other numbers that they don't compile into these presentations. So hopefully, yeah, I can pull together some extra numbers. But in brief, from what I read here, so Etsy results, its merchandise sold is 10% up year on year compared to this time last year, which is pretty good because the whole lager lurgy was kicking in this time last year, and 31% up year on year in non-masks. So that is a good growth in people buying things that aren't masks, which is what we expected because people came here to get masks when there was nowhere else to go, and hopefully some of them have stayed. Not everybody will, but some of them have stayed. Etsy's been working on its search function. I'm quite sure a few of you have noticed that. I know people have complained to me that it's not working so good, but they've significantly increased the number of data points they're using to sort out the search. My feeling with this is it's like a really bright toddler just now. It's smarter than it was before. However, it's still got a little bit of learning to do. But in the next few months and couple of years, it's hopefully going to get really good, hopefully. 8 million listing videos have been uploaded, and by the looks of things, they are actually using your listing videos to share on social media. So where normally they would have put a picture up, they're using listing videos, and that's getting good engagement. My computer's making random noises. So that's cool. There is going to be a push for people filling in their expected delivery date. People, Etsy want that up to 90% by Christmas. So we'll see. I think part of the pushing forward with that, part of the forcing us is the star seller system. And they have been pushing people to download the app and have seen results with that. Etsy is now the number 7th shopping app worldwide, which is pretty cool. Worldwide or in the US, I'll remember when I go back. And focus target markets. This is interesting. We know they've been doing a lot of adverts and pushing in Germany. South America's been pushed forward with some of the new acquisitions that we'll look into. And also, they just in a sly little comment messaged that Etsy is going to be India is going to be Etsy's new core market they're focusing on, which is kind of cool because India is huge. So check out if you can ship to India. Now looking, sales are slightly down on quarter one, but they're up, as we said, they're this 10% up on last year, but quarter one was slightly higher. It is just a small amount. I'll show you the numbers in the morning. Oh yes, and we'll cover this in more detail as well. Ads are currently bringing in more money for Etsy, so more people are spending money on ads, but the return on ad spend for sellers is the same. So if you're putting more money into your ads, you just get the same return back. So you get a stepped increase. You don't get suddenly like way more money. And we have talked about ads in the past and why that is. There's an algorithm kind of designed to bring the same return on investments. So however you feel about that, but that was just my thoughts from quickly running through it last night. like I say, it's going to be all new to me again, because I forgot what I read last night because I'm terrible in mornings. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's morning for me in my head. So I'll quickly have a look at the chat, see who's here, and then we'll dig into the presentation. But keep your questions coming in. I'm not a financial expert, but I have been keeping an eye on these for a few years. So hopefully I can explain some things. We have Colour Me Triggered. Hello there. And what a perfect name for an internet person, Colour Me Triggered. This year my sales are down 40%, but it was up 100% last year, most likely because of the lockdowns. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Everything, well, not every, a lot of people saw a big jump. So if they're down 40%, I assume that means they're like up 60% on 2 years ago. So it's like a big spike. But how I look at it is when you get big spikes, like when you go viral or something, what you need to do is not look at the big spike, but look at where your baseline is after that. So we all have a kind of, oh, sorry, got itchy nose. We all have a sort of baseline of sales. And a lot of people look and they go, oh, I got this massive spike and now I'm down. It's terrible. But you go, well, no, actually, my average sales going forwards is higher than where they were. So that spike lifted me up, if that makes sense. I'm flapping my hands about. Maria, good morning. Hello there. Tobias, shipping to India will be slightly cheaper than to the USA from Australia. Hey, that's really good news. Yeah, good point for a lot of people. And I mean, I think India is like about 5 times the size of America. Well, the USA. I've got to stop calling the USA America. That's just as annoying as calling like Scotland England, or calling everything in the UK England. So I'm sorry, I'm going to, but pull me up on that, guys. I've got to stop doing that. But yeah, India could be a really interesting market, and like different people with different things. So it's going to be really interesting to look into. I've had some sales in India, but not much. Serena, hey there. Tobias, your sales are down 100%. Oh, but I need to put more stock up. I only have 3 rather expensive items. Yeah, it's not impossible to make sales with only a few things in your shop, but it's a lot harder. I'm actually experimenting just now because my sales are down because I've had a lazy summer. My motivation totally tanked for doing anything in my shop. So if anyone else wants to join in with me, I'm doing a push for August to get sales up, and like doing things for 3 days and I got my first sale. So it started to pick up. So hopefully that'll happen. I'm just listing new listings, different listings, playing around with keywords and things. So hopefully August, I'll build my shop up. And then when it comes September, when people are starting shopping, I'll be in a good place to get it. I don't expect tons of sales in August, but hopefully I can claw back at least my views to where I was last year. Excuse me a moment. Right, let's get this little presentation only up and not have my software pausing it. Right, so there is a link in the description for this. Yes, I can still see chat and everything. That's cool. There's a link in the description for this so you can find it and go through it yourself. And if I'm speaking absolute silliness, just let me know. But as we already said, NonMask GMS. GMS is gross merch sales. I always say gross mean sales because I do stats, but gross merch sales. So I look at the GMS because that's how much sellers are making selling things. Revenue is how much Etsy's making. So yeah, okay, good for them. But we're more worried about us making money. So they're saying strong financial performance despite macro headwinds and challenging year-over-year comparisons. I assume that's comparisons. And yeah, we did expect, like last year was huge because everyone had no choice. Now people do have a choice. So still 10% year on year compared to Q2 last year is still pretty cool. And 31%, that's good. Right, EBITDA. I keep forgetting what this is. It's earnings before investment tax, depreciation, and amortization. amortization. But yeah, it's earnings before. But yeah, we don't care. This is Etsy numbers. This is the number. Now, so they're telling us compared to year on year how we've done. Up 10% or so. But I also wanted to look at how we compare to quarter one, because they never really mentioned that. And I have been compiling all the data. I've got graphs sitting about, but I didn't bring them today. But okay, I can just give you the roughly. So starting at 2018, quarter one was 0.86 billion, quarter two was 0.9 billion. 2019, quarter one was 1 billion, quarter two was 1.1 billion. 2020, quarter one was 1.4 billion, and quarter two was 2.7 billion. And 2021, quarter one was 3.1 billion and quarter two was 3 billion. So that's the gross merchandise sales. So one thing there, it's not a huge thing. It's not a huge difference, but every other year, quarter one to quarter two, it was a slight increase. The trend has always been, it kind of increases through the year, and then quarter four is a big jump, and then it drops down for quarter one again, but quarter one's higher than what quarter three's been. So it's an upward graph with a big jump at Christmas, basically. But this year, quarter two is down from quarter one. That's not a huge amount. It went from 3.1 billion to 3 billion, and we don't even know with their rounding errors or whatever else what huge difference that is. But it still is a difference. It's still down. I'm not worried about this, but this might explain why people are feeling it's even a bit tougher just now, because it always feels like a bit of a dip, because if like me, most of my shop items are for selling kind of gifts. So in the summer you would see the wedding shops do a little bit better, and so gift shops were by comparison down quite a bit, although the overall was smoothed out, on the full Etsy numbers. But if everything is down slightly, then that could mean that we're down like even more than usual. So having a good summer and kind of ignoring my shop wasn't a horrible idea. But it's still, I mean, we're comparing when they say this 31% or this 10%, that's compared to last year. But if we look at quarter two, 2018 and 2019, they were around about 1 billion, and now they're 3 billion. That's 2 billion increase in a couple of years. So it is quite a difference. Just checking the chat. Samantha, yes. Last year sales were 100% up with lockdowns. Last month I was only 7% down, which I feel is brilliant. Yeah, I completely agree. We expected to be a lot down. So yeah, I think you're doing great. That sounds good. Yeah, quarter two last year, there were few options, so buyers turned to Etsy. Yeah, especially with masks. For whatever else we say, Etsy did a good thing when, like, Amazon and everyone else were saying, no, you can't sell masks. Etsy went, hang on, there's a gap in the market. People need masks. Okay, they're not medical grade. We can't say they're medical grade, but here, so guys, if you can make a mask, make a mask. So Etsy was suddenly spotted by a ton more people. That's a really good thing they did. So yeah, here they're saying quarter one 2020 to quarter two 2020, things went up a crazy amount. that is a lovely spike. And this year buyers have more options, but they're still buying more. This is a really cool one. The spend per active buyer is increased 22%. So in 2020, I guess, because they were buying masks. So the average how much each buyer was buying was $100, and it's now nearly $130. So yeah, people are buying more. It does make sense. I don't think that's a particularly huge trend. It's just they came for masks, which weren't that expensive, and they stayed for gifts. Oh, here's their job number one, continuing to drive the long-term growth of the Etsy marketplace through our right to win strategy. They put this up every time. Do you know, I hate these kind of things. It's just like bragging, but without really anything. These are the things they're aiming for. So, best in class search and discovery. Finding things feels gratifying. Yeah, if people search, they want to find what they're searching for. Humans and machines curate together, understanding the relationship between items and people. We spoke about how the algorithm is in a previous video a couple of weeks ago. It's got some real interesting changes that they've been talking about for a while, but what they're doing. One thing they mentioned was, the personalizations are really kicking in more. So if you were searching for resin items loads and then you went and searched for a lamp, they would be more likely to show you more resin lamps as well. So they're trying to learn about you. But obviously, this is going to be trial and error. Things are going to be a bit weird. And I think for us sellers, our search results might be a bit weird because we have weird searches because we're not always searching to buy. We're searching to see what our competition's up to. So human connections, deepen the affinity by telling the story. I love that, and that's something we should all do. People complain there's so many like resellers and shops that are doing what they shouldn't be doing. But your unique selling point, if you hand make your thing, is you're hand making your thing. So tell that story. Be your person out there. Be the creator. So, explain your idea, why you made the thing, show yourself making it and stuff. Support with a personal touch. Etsy is huge on personalizations every year, and it's going to get pushed at Christmas as well. You're hearing me say it here first, but if you can personalize stuff that you make, give it as an option. Connect to co-create. I have no idea what that means. A trusted brand, a safe brand that stands for special, trust and reputation signal. I am betting this is things like the star seller. Proactive customer support, reliable and sustainable fulfillment. Yeah, so because these are the things that they're focusing on. So a trusted brand, they're trying to think of things to help people trust Etsy, which isn't a bad thing, just not necessarily the way they're going about it. So that's their focus. Our seller's collection of unique items, handcrafted, vintage, made for you. Best place to start and grow your creative business. It is. I wish it wasn't, but it is. Everyday items that have meaning and special purchase occasions. Yeah, so that's what Etsy wants to be, the place where you come to buy everyday items and your special gifts. I have to confess, I wouldn't shop on Etsy for everyday items. I'm a terrible Etsy buyer. Let me know actually in the chat, you guys, do you shop for regular things on Etsy? I only come here for handmade gifts. If I'm wanting everyday stuff, I go to eBay or Amazon. I mean, yeah, sorry, but I don't see Etsy. That's not what Etsy is for me. Ooh. Right here, this is a techie one. I remember this. This is just talking about the search capabilities. So the data points used to be 240 million data points, and now it's 2.7 billion. So that's all the things they're using to try and figure out what to show the buyer. As I say, it's like a really intelligent toddler just now. It's got a lot of data points. It's got a lot of figuring out. But what has to happen, the little understanding I have of these kind of algorithms, it's computer learning now. It's smarter than us. So we give it all this data, and there's like a black box in the middle that no one understands. And out of it, we say, we want you to show the thing that gets the most sales. So what it has to do is it shows some stuff, it sees what the sales are, plugs that data point back in, shows some different stuff and sees what the differences is. So it's always having to learn. And we're at the point, we're kind of reaching the point where the machines are more smart than us, and we don't necessarily understand what all the parts that it's deciding are important, but it's going to keep on tweaking it until it shows the results that get the sales more often. Yeah, that's my really basic understanding. Yeah, here we go with the listing videos. 8 million listing videos uploaded. That's 21% up quarter, and a 700% increase in engagements on the Etsy social channel. So I mentioned this at the start, that when Etsy are sharing, like to Instagram, some of your stuff, they're sharing listing videos. And, this is cool. A lot of the places, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, videos look good. Videos catch your eye. When you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, a picture, it's hard to be eye-catching. If you're scrolling down and a video explodes, does something super interesting, then that catches your eye. So you might pause, and it might give you that extra second that people stop and click on it. So they are seeing an increased engagement. So that's interesting. Tobias, I agree with you in principle, Pam. Handmade shops should be the focus of our shop. The problem arises with the scam stores steal your designs, cut under your price so much that you can't compete. Yeah, I know that's horrible. All we can do is report them and keep doing better than them. It is tough. I have in the past, I've made videos about poor needle felters who I see their images used in Facebook ads for cheap shops, like people with wonderful items that I know took hours and hours of work, and it's in a Facebook ad with 1,000 people commenting that this 20 quid thing is the cutest ever. They're going to have to buy it. Like, seriously, it really annoys me because these people buy it and they don't get what was in the photograph because they can't, because the buyer that made it doesn't even, the seller that made it doesn't even know that their stuff's being sold. It's so annoying, and something does need to be done about that, not just on Etsy, across the whole internet. We've made significant gains in delivery predictability. So it's a US thing just now, but I'm betting it's going to go all over. They're wanting to help sellers provide more specific information in order to set clear and accurate delivery date expectations. I know why they're wanting to do that, but we're still pandemic-y. We're literally still in a time that our shipping carriers might not be able to fulfill their obligations in time. Stuff might take longer. I mean, yeah, I know, even just in the US, I know a lot of you guys, your stuff gets hung up in certain delivery centers and stuff. Things take longer. So yeah, we can't tell people a sensible expected delivery date. And most annoying is when we put in that expected delivery date and it's late, Etsy sends out a message to the buyer asking them if they would like to review the product that they haven't got yet. So that all that needs sorted out. I get it when I'm shopping on eBay. Oh, sorry, eyeballs are itchy. When I'm shopping on eBay, I look and I see, is that going to be with me in 2 days, or is that going to be with me in 6 months? But I don't do that on Etsy. I just, okay, I'll buy something in September and go, is it going to be here for Christmas? That's what I'm looking at. But I expect them to take longer. Again, we can't be handmade, personalized, all these wonderful things, and next day delivery. But anyway, so in Q2 2020, 73% of items had the expected delivery date. Just now it's 89%, and by Christmas they wanted it 90%. And how they're doing that is with the star seller thing. Basically, they're pushing for that. Oh, and look, recently announced the Star Seller program, defining what good customer service looks like for Etsy. Yeah, if you've missed it, I've made a few videos on that, and there'll probably be more to come. I actually got a reply to my email from Etsy, and although it's just a standard reply, there is some interesting things in there. And also we've got the Q&A was going to say on Friday. That's tomorrow, isn't it? So hopefully we'll try and go through the Q&A tomorrow. I might even like get some cider and we'll just have an evening of it if anyone's up for that. But yeah, so we know about the Star Seller. Okay, we're driving frequency through app engagement and new product experiences. Yeah, so thank you coupons. Yuck. Updates feature. I don't know if they're actually making it easier to do your shop updates. Oh no, I see. Right. Yes. So and so has new items in their shop. This person is having a sale. Okay, yeah. So it's announcements. Yeah. App downloads and badging, we'll get to that to a minute. And on-time shipping, that is the Star Seller thing. I'm sure we're all trying to ship on time. And yes, I quickly mentioned this already. So the app, they are focusing on trying to get people to download the app. The problem is, yeah, it seems there's a lot of people commenting about things on the app and everyone's like, yeah, you've got to uninstall it and install it again. It's a bit glitchy. I don't like shopping on an app, and I certainly don't like running my business on an app. But if you do, yeah, more power to you. I like the whole screen to play around with. And it just I'm old. It still feels scary buying things on my phone. That sounds like I could go crazy. I'm bad enough with online buying. But here we go. Etsy is the number 7 shopping app in the iOS Apple Store as of June the 30th, which is interesting. Tobias, ooh, the Q&A. Yeah, I'm getting my sarcasm filter built in. I bet it's going to be interesting. Internal investments are driving gains to our brand metrics. Oh yeah, this is from their last year. They did quite a bit of advertising in Germany, and we are seeing an uptick in German sellers at least. But this is showing if people are aware of the brand of Etsy. So it is growing. April to May, that's really not much. But they are pushing, so hopefully Germany will be a bit bigger. More buyers will understand about Germany, which is interesting and cool. And here's the places that Etsy have bought, which is interesting. So obviously we've got Etsy is the big thing, but now they have 4 marketplaces. But so what Etsy should be before is handmade, vintage, and craft. And I'm sorry to the boys and the young people in here, but it's appealing to millennial and Gen X women. I'm seeing more men joining in, but yes, it's definitely skews a little bit older nowadays. And the core markets are US, UK, Germany, Canada, France, Australia, and the little one they've snuck in that I mentioned earlier. They're bringing in a new core market. They're bringing in India. So they're going to be starting pushing India too, which is going to be interesting. But the other sites, now these are separate sites. Like when we see the money and everything, this is what Etsy, the company that owns the 4 of these, rather than Etsy, the standalone platform. They really should have named it something different. But they've got Reverb. They had that for quite a while. It's a music shop, and they're reckoning it's for millennials and Gen X men. Depop is a fashion re-commerce. I think it's a selling old clothes and eBay for your clothes. It's a Gen Z one, so that's for the younger folks out there. UK, US, and Australia. And LO7, handmade and crafts, and that's focused Brazil, so that's South America that they're targeting there. Yeah, so I won't go into these too much. It's kind of cool, but we sell on Etsy. But yeah, Depop has been growing. It's cool. Etsy bought it last year, I think. So they're wanting to, Depop wants to drive more brand recognition, people around the world getting to know it. And ELO7 is the fastest growing in the Latin American market. So that is really cool. If that's a market you wanted to target, then ELO7 is what to aim for. And they're working, starting on the basic. They're wanting to increase their conversion rate. So it sounds like a baby platform or just a growing up. And Reverb, yeah, we know it's about music. They're wanting to get international. I've got a lot of friends in the music business and stuff, and I have not heard them talk about Reverb, but they might just be being quiet about it. Okay, our market opportunity is large and expanding. Etsy, 1.7 trillion. Wow. And TAM is the total addressable market. Yeah. So Etsy marketplace relevant in our 6 core geographies, but didn't include India, Etsy's newest core geography. So again, mention it. This is where, look, I really like digging into these because there's little nuggets. There's like listing videos have been doing really well when we share them on social media. Oh, right. So get your listing videos, you'll be shown there. We're pushing towards having your shipping, your delivery dates. Okay, that's something we might have to focus on just now. And they sneak in just a couple of little mentions of India that I've not seen anywhere else, but it's interesting to see. And yep, we had a solid second quarter. You did indeed. What wasn't bad, Etsy. Again, I'm only really interested in the gross merchandise sales. I still want to say gross mean sales. It sounds right. Yeah. So that's interesting. I hadn't noticed that before. Quarter 2 to quarter 3, 2020 did take a slight dip, which makes sense. Pandemic-y things, and then some countries opened up at that point. So there was a dip. So we're not sure. We might see a slight dip in quarter 3 here as well. So we're not out of the woods yet, but there's always Christmas. What we want to be focusing on just now. Quarter 3 is nice and everything, but our focus should be on the holidays now. That's what we should be doing. Non-mask sales remain stable. Yeah, it's nice to see the non-mask ones. So non-mask is the dark blue line. So yeah, it actually non-mask. Okay, that makes a whole ton of sense. That dip that I just saw quarter 2 to quarter 3 was because people would buy masks less. It actually, non-masks went up just a teeny bit, and then Christmas, it went amazing. We always see a dip in January, and there is a bit of a dip in quarter 2. But what it says, is saying a bit of a dip, but 2.8 to 2.8. So yeah, we're about steady. It's still $2.8 billion worth of stuff was sold by sellers on Etsy. That's okay. And here's the month by month. Yeah, I don't often see that. So yes, you can see definitely April is a bit higher and it drops May, June. As we say, the summer, it's not just you, but this is normal. So yeah, economies are reopening. That's it. Shops are open. Things are opened up. So we expect this. I think July will show up as quite low as well. Certainly in the UK and England, they had their Freedom Day. The sort of the middle of July just opened up everything. Scotland, I think we're getting more or less freedom from next week. I won't be doing anything, but there it is. So that makes a big difference. If everything's open and people go out and stuff, they're less likely to buy, but less likely than they were last year, not less likely than they were 2 years ago, because there's now thousands of people who didn't even have a computer before that are computer savvy. Thousands of people who'd never shopped online had to learn how to do it. So it's all pretty cool. Strong trends in our international trade routes continue. International growth. Okay, that's cool. International v US growth. Yeah, oh yeah. So international's been doing good. Slight dip again between Q1 and Q2, but that's good for, I know a lot of us are actually international, but also for those in the US, consider shipping internationally. It's growing. It is getting bigger now. Oh, yeah, this is the one that makes people angry. But this is where Etsy's money's coming from. So Marketplace, this blue circle, is what they call required fees. It's the listing fees, transaction fees, payment platform, and offsite ads fees. So Etsy last year, I should have pulled the results from other years. I don't have that just now, but made, it tells us, made $395 million out of those fees, which is up 19% on last year. The other ones they call service revenue, which is advertising, Etsy ads, and bump. Okay. Shipping labels and other. Interestingly enough, okay, that's 133 million, and it's up 25%. It's up 38% year on year. So it's up more. The optional things that you can add are up more, and I expect that more. Etsy is pushing for us to use their shipping labels. So they're wanting to get a bigger slice of this pie. So they're trying to make more money out of us. Cut their business. Oh yeah, another one for angry folks. Etsy ads optimization drive higher click-through rates, healthy seller return on ad spend, and increased budgets. Q2 Etsy ads revenue grew 47%. So Etsy's making more out of Etsy ads than it did last year. And I get that people saying their sales are down. A lot of them have been turning on ads or turning up how much they're paying in ads because they're freaking out because sales have dropped. So revenue per visit, I'm assuming that is the price that people are paid when they buy something on an ad. That's increased 25%. And it makes sense. Part of, we did a video on, I did a video, you guys hopefully watched it, on the Etsy ads algorithm. I think if you haven't watched it, it's called something along the lines of Etsy ads are not ripping you off by mistake. They're designed that way. Sarcasm again. But it is skewed in that a listing will get a higher cost per click, will get a higher maximum cost per click if it's a slightly higher value item. It's kind of skewed that way. So they are aiming to show items that are likely to make Etsy more money in the ads. It's not 100%. Algorithms are complicated, obviously, but yeah, so that doesn't surprise me at all. But this middle bit, do we see here? Seller return on ad spend. So sellers are spending 47% more on ads, but the return on ad spend is totally stable. That is because the algorithm, watch my video if you don't know about this, but the ad algorithm to determine what your cost per click will be calculates what your cost per click will be. So Etsy can decide how much return on your ad spend you get. And I noticed they don't actually give us the figure. Which is interesting. And I haven't been able to find it. I will look and see if I can find it some more later to see what that return on ad spend is. But I bet it's a lot closer to 1 than what it used to be 5 or 6 years ago. And here we go. Yeah, the seller budget, 92%. Etsy sellers have nearly doubled their budget in ad spend, but that just gives them what they're making in sales in ads is just going to be this 92% as well. I hope that makes sense. Offsite ads was a key driver of Q2 gross margin. Wow, only 2% of people are opting out of offsite ads, which is interesting considering the hows of process. Now, I like offsite ads, or I don't hate offsite ads. I know it's difficult for some people because you don't know, you don't have a control of how many sales you're going to make through offsite ads. So you can't set a budget for how much you're going to spend. If you make a sale on offsite ads, you get charged for it. So it is difficult. However, you only get charged if you make a sale. Etsy ads, if you spend your entire budget without making a sale, you spend your entire budget, you get charged for clicks. So yes, that's interesting anyway. Disciplined investment in product and marketing serve as a foundation for future growth. So here's Etsy's spending on marketing. So they did a big boost in marketing at Christmas, and it looks like they're building up to do that again. Fingers crossed. And they are spending more on marketing. And if they're pushing into India, they're definitely going to spend more on marketing. I can't imagine that's cheap. Incredible stability in our buyer segments as we compare prior year pandemic driven peaks. So active buyers, oh, that's nice. Active buyers has gone up, slightly down between Q1 and Q2. Makes sense, but it's super up on like a few years ago. Repeat buyers, even better and more important. 36.3 million repeat buyers on Etsy in Q2. That's cool. And habitual buyers, these are the gold ones that keep on shopping on Etsy. It's been stable this year, but up on forever. That's really good. And new buyer purchase trends. So new buyers in 2020, as we expected, it went crazy. But we're still bringing in more new buyers than we were. Remember what I said about a kind of baseline? That's the pandemic. That's where it was before the pandemic. So we're still above where it was. Tobias, compute, compare, combine. Yeah, that's really bad of Etsy not to actually just put the full word in Etsy. And the gross merch spend, how much the new buyer is spending, is kind of cool. It's gone up from $37 to $46. So people, even new buyers, are spending a bit more. And we already looked at this. Spend per active buyer continues to grow. So it definitely... Now this went up from Q3, of course, yeah. Q1 and Q2 2020, people were buying a lot, but they were buying a lot of masks. And then since then, they've come back and they're buying other things. So they are spending more than what they were doing last year and the year before. So that's a nice trend. I definitely have found they don't mind paying for decent things. EBT, that this is, what did I say? Earnings before investment tax, depreciation and amortization. I don't know what that last one is, but this is Etsy's cash flow. Good for you. Etsy's making money. That's all we need. And here we have, I want to hear how much sellers are making. Sorry, Etsy. Right, I think that says we did it. So I have put a link in the description for that. I will go through it later and look into more details at stuff, and if there's anything interesting, I'll let you know. But I think overall, there's no massive surprises. India's good. listing videos are still gonna be a important thing. I think they're gonna be pushed for some more. What else? Oh, yes, postage times, delivery t there's the word, delivery, I knew it began with a D. Delivery times are still gonna be, an important Etsy's gonna be pushing for them, so if you can, but make sure be fair to yourself. It's better to underpromise and overdeliver. So make everything a little bit further out. Make sure your processing times are generous. But yeah, something to work into. Etsy are gonna be pushing the star seller thing. We will tomorrow go through the Q&A. Tomorrow, what an amount. For what? What do you mean? Tobias, when is the Q&A and will you be streaming through it? The Q&A is just, it is just on the forums on Etsy. They've been gathering questions. People have been putting in their questions and they say the staff will go through and answer them on Friday. So it's US staff, so they'll be starting answering them from like about now, tomorrow. So I will probably, depending on what I'm doing, Friday evening. It's not so much there's going to be Etsy people talking, but I'll just go through it and we'll look at some of the answers as they pop up. Um, so yeah. Tomorrow, yeah, the ROI is crazy. Yeah, the return on for ads, it's crazy in a not good way, or it's crazy in a good way if you're Etsy. Yeah, you completely stopped with ads. It was a good decision. I totally understand. I'm mainly only running them so I can complain on video. If I wasn't making videos to explain, to explain to other people what was going on, I wouldn't have ads on at all. They're not worth it. But I'm in the lucky position that, if my ads do terribly and I do everything I can to optimize them and I can't make them good, I can make a little bit of money by making a video on it. So it kind of balances out. Oh, I wanted to mention, people talked about the stock prices crashing since Etsy announced this. And I've looked at my I have shares in Etsy. I have a half of a share in Etsy. Big spender here. And mine hasn't crashed, but it could in the next couple of days. I'll keep an eye on it. But that's what shares do. For some reason, people panic, but it's been going up. I'm making money off my shares. That's the amusing thing. I should do another video on this, but last year I decided to see if I could make more money off of Etsy shares than I can off of Etsy ads, and yeah, I can. You can make more money being a shareholder than being someone who actually works. Capitalism is wonderful, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, I kind of hate that, but at the same time, it was fun to see and get angry about. Anyway, guys, right, I gave you a couple of minutes. If you have any more questions about the whole Etsy financial results, but I don't think there's any big surprises there. I would be surprised if anyone's surprised about that. There's nothing going forward that we should worry about or that we haven't been able to guess. But these are always worth checking. There's usually little nuggets that we haven't heard elsewhere, like India this time. Sometimes they talk about changes to their algorithm or stuff that's coming up. For example, if they hadn't already announced the star seller thing, it would be in there warning us that it was coming up. But yeah, everyone, you all have a great day. Um, yeah, I will hopefully see you tomorrow. What I'll do, I'll look at the Q&A and see if the answers are looking interesting. Well, I can, even if they're not, I can go through my email because Etsy didn't tell me I can't share my email with you. So tomorrow will be a star sellers day. Might even have cocktails and chill out because slightly tipsy Pam being sarcastic at Etsy. What could go wrong there? I'm going to get my shop closed down, and anyway, right. You guys have a great day and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.